Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has approved a 2 billion rand guarantee to safeguard the deposits of over 200,000 retail clients of Ithala Bank. This will enable the facilitation of payments through one or more banking institutions, ensuring a smooth migration of accounts and timely access to funds. The intervention comes after Ithala's banking license was suspended last year due to its failure to meet financial soundness requirements. Joining me now is Francois Rodgers, who is KwaZulu-Natal's Finance MEC. A very good evening to you, MEC. Thank you very much for your time. Certainly from the statement you issued earlier, you're not happy at all with this decision. Tell us why.
Good evening, Voya, and good evening to your viewers. Look, it came as a shock when I got the letter that the minister had written to the governor of the Reserve Bank, because I've been negotiating with the National Minister of Finance since September last year in good faith about how we can save Ithala and how we should go about it. And in fact had agreed in principle to looking at a guarantee of, as you say, 2.2 billion rand. That guarantee I would have had to sign for as MEC of Finance in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. And that guarantee would have been used to secure the services of a licensed commercial bank to allow the depositors of Ithala to continue trading. At no stage whatsoever was there an agreement that the province would sign for a guarantee and all the depositors would be paid out their deposits. I would never have agreed to that, because to repay that under the fiscal conditions that we currently face, the over 70 billion we've had cut from National Treasury over the last 4 years, would put us in a precarious situation. And this was a stopgap so that we could sort out the mess that we'd inherited around Ithala SOC, the bank and its licensing, to ensure that mainly depositors are protected. You know, this has been going on for almost a year now. And then, of course, the repayment administrator got involved and shut down the operations. Ithala hasn't been able to operate for 4 months. And we still await, the trial on the matter of the liquidation from the Prudential Authority. That hasn't even happened. It just seems everybody is intent on shutting down Ithala at whatever cost.
What's the legal position, though? In other words, are you offended at the fact that you were not consulted first before the Finance Minister announced this decision? Or is it a question of the law? In other words, you were supposed, in terms of the law, to be consulted first. So which one is it?
Well, I think it's probably the latter. If I'm going to be responsible to sign a 2.2 billion rand guarantee on behalf of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, then I would have at least expected some sort of consultation before the minister writes to the governor of the Reserve Bank. I think that's the least he could have done. We've acted in good faith all along. There's been engagements with the president on this matter. The president had requested that the Prudential Authority, the Repayment Authority, Ithala and the province sit round a table and try and come up with a solution, ultimately to protect those who are most vulnerable, those depositors at the bank. And clearly this has not been complied with. And in my opinion, Voya, and the evidence I have at hand, the National Minister has unilaterally written and instructed the Reserve Bank Governor to proceed to repay all the depositors, and KwaZulu-Natal will be held liable for the 2.2 billion rand. Unless I can be proven wrong, that is the evidence I have at hand.
But what is your understanding, though, of how Ithala got into this mess in the first place?
I can't speculate. I wasn't in government during this period, but I can tell you that the one decision that was made by this administration was, once we resolve the Ithala matter, that there would have to be an investigation as to why it took so long to enable Ithala to qualify for a commercial banking license. I cannot speak for the sins of the past. All I can tell you is that we're trying to resolve this amicably in the best interest of those deposit holders at Ithala.
But though, I mean, the problems of Ithala are well documented over the years, how it has been a piggy bank for the politically well-connected in a particular, and these problems have continued for many, many, many years. In other words, the point I'm making is that it's not something that happened a year ago. It's been a long time coming. These problems have been known for so long.
Boyo, now you asked me the same question that the National Minister of Finance asked me. I supplied the National Minister of Finance with all the information. First was the question around liquidity, which I supplied him direct information from Ithala. Then there were questions asked about politically, I forget the terminology, politically connected individuals doing business with the bank. All of that information, I didn't want access to it, but I forwarded all that information through to his office because these had been raised as a concern. Now, I'm led to believe, and the information that I forwarded through to the minister's office disproves a lot of the speculation and the accusation that seems to be doing the rounds. There is no evidence that I've been able to pick up of politically connected people who've done business with Ithala and have not repaid their loans or are not in the process of repaying loans. Then there was the speculation about 50% of Ithala's staff have loans with the bank. I may be incorrect with the percentage. Well, that's not unusual. People that work for Standard Bank or FNB or ABSA also take out loans with the bank. So a lot of the information floating around, Voyo, is untested. And that is why Ithala took the repayment authority to court in this particular matter.
If you were to engage with the finance minister, how would you go about that to achieve what in the end?
Well, if he'd at least just respond to my emails or my WhatsApps. You know, I've been trying to contact the national minister now for months again about the Ithala matter. But, you know, it takes two to tango. You can't communicate down a one-way street. The national minister, if he's sincere about finding a solution to the problem, then he needs to engage. I have always, as I say, Voya, and I repeat this again, acted in good faith, given the national minister the information that he requires, been open and honest, and I expect the same from him.
And what for you is at stake here?
There's nothing at stake for me. What I feel concerned about is that since January, people, as you were saying, 233,000 account holders with Ithala, and a lot of those rural community stokvels, small businesses, taxi associations, who have not been able to access their money. That's at stake here, nothing else.
Let me see. That's where we're going to leave it for today. Thank you very much for your time. Francois Rodgers, KwaZulu-Natal's Finance MEC, following, of course, that decision by the Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana to issue a government guarantee amounting to over 2 billion rands to facilitate payments of 223,166 Ithala retail depositors.